Hello. Hi everyone. Welcome to Selenium Python training program. Today we are going to see a brief introduction to Selenium. So what exactly this Selenium is, why are we using this Selenium, advantages, various components we have in Selenium, all other details we are going to study. So the first thing out over here is Selenium is a tool which is used to automate actions whatever we are performing on a websites. Okay, so assume that in your organization they have a developed a web application using Selenium. You can automate the complete activities whatever we are performing on a web application. See, let me give you a simple example for the same. So Selenium is a tool which will interact with the browser, and it will perform various operations in the browser, like entering a value to the text field. Okay, assume that if you have certain functionality, it will interact with the value present in a text field, or it will perform operation of entering a value to a text field. It will click on a search button. We can perform a click operation on a button, or images, or a radio buttons, whichever it might be. We can perform operation using this Selenium tool. So the most important thing is it's an open source test automation tool. So anyone can simply download this software for free of cost. Okay, anyone can simply download this software for free of cost. Good enough. Within this Selenium, we have a multiple components are there. Among all these components, let us list down the components first of all, whatever we have. The first one is Selenium IDE, Selenium RC, WebDriver, Selenium grids, and people are considering Selendroid as a component, but we can either consider it or we can ignore it. For now, I'm not considering this as a component of Selenium, but these are the four different components are there. Selenium IDE, RC, WebDriver, and a grid. Each and every component has its own significance. IDE supports record and playback a feature on a browser. So what is the best example for this one? See, the best example for this one is a mobile. See, within our mobile phones, we have an audio recorder or a video recorder. So whenever you clicked on a record button, automatically it will capture a complete audio or video surrounding to my mobile. And whenever we want, we can play back that. The similar way here, Selenium IDE is a component which records the actions whatever we are performing on a particular browser. Okay, if I am performing some operations on a Chrome browser, all those activities will be recorded by my Selenium IDE, and in future whenever we want, we can play back those operations. Cool. And the next component is an RC. RC and a WebDriver almost having the similar features, which supports multiple programming languages and multiple browsers. We can write down your script in any one of the programming languages like Java, Ruby, Python, .NET, whichever the program language might be. We can write down our test script in that particular programming language, and we can execute it across multiple browsers. RC is the older version where nowadays no one is using this. WebDriver is the latest component of Selenium where majority of the people these days are using this WebDriver. And now the major advantages with respect to this WebDriver are the complete architecture itself is differ than other stuff, but ultimately we can say that WebDriver is a component which can interact with the browser, and it can perform various operations like entering a value to a text field, clicking on a button, switching to a new window, performing operations, switching to a frame. All these kinds of an operations we can perform using this WebDriver. And the last component is a Selenium grid, which is used to perform a simple kind of a parallel testing. We can achieve it using Selenium grid. So these are all the various components whatever we have in Selenium. And these days majority of the people are using WebDriver as a component to perform this their automation tasks. So if you observe now, Selenium WebDriver is one of the most popular tool for web UI automation, and we are using a Python to automate our applications. Web UI automation means we can perform the various kinds of an operation on a browser, and that too, these operations can be executed on different sets of a browsers like IE, Firefox, Safari, Chrome. Depending on your project requirement, you can execute on all the real devices, and even if at all you want to execute it on a virtual devices, we can connect with the virtual devices provider like a browser stack, source lab, and we can execute our test scripts on those virtual devices as well. Okay, so this is a high level overview on Selenium. But one thing which we need to know is in order to work on this WebDriver component, it's mandatory for us to have at least a basic idea on a programming language, on one programming language. Whichever the programming language you want to work on Selenium, you have to learn that particular programming language, a minimum of a basic concepts like how to create a class, how to create an object, how to access the methods in a different classes. All these syntaxes we should know first before jumping onto the core WebDriver concepts. That's the reason we have already added the basics which are required for us to work on automation testing with respect to Selenium Python in a above section under Python videos. Kindly watch those videos before jumping onto this Selenium concepts. Cool. So that's all I have for this session. See you again in the next class. Thank you. Bye bye.